In Chapter 9 of Extending Art of Illusion, we look at a plugin that is made. Basically, it's converting the script that we did in Chapter 1 into a plugin. And that's interesting enough as it is, but you may not appreciate the value of what the plugin actually does, and if you just by looking at the book, because in the book all you've got is are still images, and of course it's in black and white. Um, and to demonstrate what this room plugin does, um, I've set up a scene that's already got one in there. You don't need me to tell you how to set up a scene, I don't think. But so we have a room in there. Of course, it's in the, to begin with, we're going to have it disabled. Um, we have a sphere that's in the center of this scene, and we have a floor, just an object for a floor, that just to make it somewhat interesting. Um, and then we have a light number 3, which is a point light, and it's really the only light that's going to be illuminating the scene. And then we're going to use mapping for when we illuminate the scene. And so without the room turned on, so with all of this disabled, um, we'll see how that looks just by rendering the scene here. And you'll notice that it's very dark. You know, the background, there's not a background. It's just really nothing there. But even the object itself is really not illuminated that well. It's got some light on it. Of course, the point lights up to the um, top right hand side of the image. Um, there's a little bit of reflection coming off the floor, giving it a little bit of color there. Um, there's not a whole lot there, and so um, we don't really get the value of the photon mapping going on. So now we're going to turn these objects on. Um, so we select Show Selection. Um, you'll notice that this room object, it's really just a big box. So if we zoom out, we can see the outside of it, but um, internally we've got our camera inside the box, so we don't really see much difference in how it looks here. But if we go and we render the scene, there's a significant difference in the amount of light that we see in the scene. Of course, we can see the back wall, but also we see that the floor is illuminated better. The object itself, we have, of course, we have the light coming onto it in much the same way as we did before, but we also have light on the back side of it. So we have all these photons bouncing around the room, hitting the various objects, and because we have this room sealed off, we have all the walls of the room. It really responds more like we would expect for light to respond. Um, normally when you have a light in a room, you expect it to bounce around, to hit some things, to to produce some shadows, but to not have real stark shadows. Whereas um, if you don't have the walls and there's nothing around you, if you were off in space where you didn't have walls around you and there's hardly any light, then you would have a dark side. You wouldn't have that nice illumination coming from bouncing around. So that's what that room object does. It's of course we have this as a plugin in Chapter 9, but we also had it as a script in Chapter 1. and really they both do, they accomplish the same thing. Now that there are some differences in how the script is done and how the plugin is done, and there's a little bit of refinement that you can do with the plugin that it doesn't work quite as well with the script. So, but but that's what that is accomplishing, or at least trying to accomplish with chapter 9, um, letting you have more light in your scene just by using the using simple lights, but having it respond in the way that you would expect it to.